Hello, welcome to Snap Take. I'm Glazer of the Snap Judgments podcast, and today I hit Infinite. We're going to review my Infinite deck. We're going to give away either a Season Pass or Token Tuesday, and I'm going to tell you what process I used to pick the deck I hit Infinite with. I think it can be really helpful and informative to players trying to get there. First, like and sub. I do one of these videos every weekday, and if you follow, you'll get all sorts of cool giveaways and the best Marvel Snap Takes every weekday. If you'd like a free season pass or Token Tuesday, all you have to do is comment on any video from Wednesday, Thursday, or Friday posted on this channel. As long as you're subscribed even, as long as you're subscribed and you like the video, just comment what you think the best deck in the meta is after the new patch. As soon as you do that, you're entered to win. I'll announce the winner in Monday's video, and at that point, we'll figure out how to get in contact with each other, and I will buy you either the Hitmonkey Season Pass or this Token Tuesdays bundle. Cool. On the screen, you can see the deck I hit Infinite with. I'm going to explain this deck a little bit, and then I'll tell you how I got it. So, the deck is obviously your standard Sera Surfer. It's got the standard Sera Surfer combos, the mini combos of Storm into Juggernaut, of Polaris to then pull a card out of there, Storm into Brood or Storm into Mr. Fantastic as necessary, Goose to keep the big stuff out, Nova with Killmonger to give a board-wide pump for especially useful when you don't see Surfer, Brood to be fundamentally a 312, which is obviously a phenomenal rate with Surfer, Scorpion to help keep the power down, and Maximus to be basically a big body. So, what does this deck do well? First, it stops decks that want to go really tall super well. Goose is excellent at making sure your opponent can't get into certain places when they want to. Storm also really helps with that. Limiting your opponent in that way is a good way to win games. Next up, in the current meta, the single most played deck as of at least the patch is Galactus. Well, Polaris, pulling a 2-cost into the Galactus lane, Juggernaut, popping that Galactus away, Storm, limiting wear, and Goose saying, you can't play Galactus here, are all excellent ways to turn Galactus into free cubes. That's 1, 2, 3, 4 ways to beat Galactus. Absolutely excellent. What else does this do well? Well, if you're playing against those wave decks and you read it's a wave deck, you can play Sera and then play 2 cards the next turn against wave. Or you can get down a Brood and then you're left to 1 card the last turn. But if that card is Surfer, you're pumping your whole board. You should be able to do quick math. And that quick math is, can I beat Doom and She-Hulk? Remember, She-Hulk can sneak under your Goose here. But you should also know, because hopefully you've stormed one lane for this matchup, right? Whether the 5 they're going to add from Doom is going to win that lane. At that point, you've hopefully stacked another lane. Sera Maximus Silver Surfer is a good way to do so, especially if you've had another 3 there from earlier. It's a great way to make sure that that lane is won. It's really good against Doomwave. Does it beat Sandman? Not as often. Sandman's going to be a really bad matchup for this. But that's fine. In my climb, for whatever reason, I just didn't run into Sandman. That's the only matchup that this absolutely really suffers to. I beat several leaders because they copied my Maximus or Polaris, and then after they copied it, my Surfer, because I was not fighting for priority, my Surfer then put me over the top, winning me those matches. Deck is stellar. So, obviously, this is a deck that many people have access to. If you were playing when Surfer was out, Surfer was the hotness, and most people have the card. Surfer's great, right? Cool. Just again, I want to say this every time I talk about Surfer from now on. I was so wrong about Surfer. I thought the nerf killed him. Obviously, since I just hit Infinite with this, he's not dead. Cool. That's out of the way. But if you have Surfer, nothing else here is hard to get. Pull 3 card, pull 3 card, pull 3 card, pull 2 card, pull 3 card, pull 2 card, pull one, I believe. Three, two, three, one. That means that every card, assuming you have Surfer, in this is basically easily achievable. And hey, if you can't get there now, Surfer will be down in Series 3 next month. So you're pretty close. Great. Beyond this deck being achievable, here I have most of the cards in the game at this point. Here's how I went and got this deck. This is Specimen. You probably know Specimen. Specimen has 26,000 subscribers. We've got just a few less than that. But you probably know Specimen. Specimen goes on Untapped and looks at the Marvel Snap tier list, and he found that in the past day, and it hasn't been long since the patch, two decks have ranked themselves as tier 1, and you can see all the stuff he's doing at player collection level 300, rank 70 to 100 players, latest patch, all cards, and you have to own all the cards. Good? Sorry, all cards in the game, and that only two A decks are Surfer and Discard. So I don't love these search parameters, but they're perfectly fine. I'm going to go over to the Marvel Snap tier list on Untapped so I can show you guys how I found this exact deck. So I went here over onto Untapped, the Marvel Snap.untapped, and then I hit tier list. Cool. Player collection level, and Speci uses 3,000 plus, so I'm perfectly fine with that. 3,000 plus is basically end game players. If you are an earlier player, please feel free to check that. He uses 70 to 100, I believe. Yeah, I want to spread that out. I like 60 to 100 where possible. I feel like once you're at 60, you're pretty damn solid at this game. So I like 60 to 100. This is trying to give me current location. That's not what I want. I want the latest patch. So I now click all of this. And now look, I have fundamentally the same criteria that Speci had. I again like that extra 10%. That's fine. You'll note that neither one of the A level decks are played an awful lot, and it's only been a day, 70,000 games, so this isn't the biggest sample. So take everything with a grain of salt. What's played a lot right now? Electro Ramp is a ton of the meta, and Galactus is a ton of the meta. These are the two most popular decks. I got lucky that I didn't see much Electro Ramp. I did see a Sandman on 5, but I had gone wide enough and basically locked up on location, so I was able to control that game. Okay. So what we have next is, from here you can just go, you can click Sera Surfer. We just scroll. What's the most popular Sera Surfer deck? This looks awfully familiar, right? Cool. 0.5 average, 0.51 cube rate, 53.8 win rate. Those two seem good. Let's view 15 decks. And as we look, is this the most successful one with a real sample? This one might be a little more successful, but I don't really like Rogue. I think Rogue is a meta call. This one is close to as successful. It basically replaces Lizard for Scorpion. That might be right. I'm not sure. Lizard is better with Storm, but it's not necessarily better in other circumstances. Cool. None of the other versions have enough. I'm fine with Scorpion or Lizard here. I realize I know I don't really want Rogue, so I just copied this version of the deck. Now, I copied it straight up, not expecting to win a ton with it. I copied it just to be like, well, if this is succeeding, let's see how it feels into the meta. And in fairness, I was already ranked 98. I've been to 99.6 twice already, and I know I'm going to cross over to Infinite at this point. But I test everything. I'll actually show you a decent amount of my early testing in this meta in just one moment. But I test everything, and I'm just like, you know what? I'm ranked 98. I played a great deck by Jfree. Jfree is another growing YouTuber. I'll throw his channel into the description if you want to check him out. And he posted a Thanos deck, and you know I love Thanos decks. My last two Infinites were Thanos decks. So cool. That was my plan, right? Like, I'm probably gonna cast with Thanos, but like, I'm watching TV with my son. What do I have to lose? I'm gonna download this deck and give it a shot. I lost one game. I lost to a Destroyer Nimrod, turn 6. Destroyer made the Nimrods too small, and the 10 on the Nimrod overran my Storm lane because I didn't have a great play after the Storm. So my Storm lane only got up to 9, and then Nimrod was 10, and then there was a second location that had a Destroyer and a Nimrod, and I couldn't top that 26. An extra couple power, a better play into that Storm lane would have won that match, but again, at that point in the game, I didn't know what the opponent was doing, and I was trying to play around. Honestly, I was trying to play around Galactus at that point still, so it's hard to play around both, and so he got me. That was my only loss from 98 to 100. Besides that, it was a straight climb. It was an easy straight climb of clear wins. The one difficult game was a Lamentis, but I had Scorpion in hand. Lamentis was on 2, and so I just played my Scorpion and weakened their whole board, and I won that one by like 3 points, but it was only a 2-cuber. I won a whole bunch of 4-cubers, most due to Surfer, but plenty without. Turns out a location that draws a card makes you even more likely to draw Surfer, which makes the stack even better. Ended up being a very, very, very smooth climb. When I was winning without Surfer, it was largely because of Killmongering Nova. Killmongering Nova is a great way to get some power. All right, so I do like testing everything, and I'm just going to click my stats to show you. I very rarely play on the computer. I have a son. I mostly play while we're watching things. We're currently watching the original Teen Titans. We've watched all Teen Titans Go. Now we're watching the original Teen Titans. I've played ever with this thing 120 games. But we can sort instead of the last 2 range. We can just hit. It doesn't let me do patch, so let's just do last 7 days. Cool. Last 7 days on plus 46 cubes. Not bad. My highest rank is 99. It doesn't know I hit 100. But this is what I've been playing. So, this is obviously a slightly different topic. I'm just showing you and explaining my process a little bit. I like to play everything. I went plus 17 with a 60.6 win rate. As you can see, I played 33 games with this deck. This was not during the ongoing hot location, just so you're aware, or at least mostly not during that location. I might have built it right around this for a little bit of that. The idea of this is to get a Patriot and Mystique into a lane, or Patriot Super Scroll into a lane if the opponent has any kind of big thing. Magic, then drop Onslaught on it, then drop Ultron. It just wins if you do that. It's got Cosmo for protection. Sometimes your opponent snaps at you, and the only possible reason they can snap with their deck is they have Enchantress. And so you just drop a Cosmo, snap back, and have a wonderful day. You just won that game. Stuff like that wins the game. It loses occasionally because I'm an idiot and I forgot that when you make your Ultron drones like 11 power, that they're Shang-Chiable, and that gets me once in a while. But short of that, that's good. I also tried the Jukon Patriot. I decided to cut Shang-Chi for Debris. I think Debris is basically a must in this meta if you're playing most versions of Patriot. Cosmo and Debris are like the answers to Galactus, who's everywhere. I did not have any success with this. Everyone else is better with this than I am. I don't know what I'm doing wrong, but it's not good. I felt like I had to test Shuri last night after the podcast. I was exhausted. I probably should have had a better win rate. But plus 4 cubes with a 53% win rate, 7 and 6, isn't bad. I just needed to know how Shuri felt so I could make intelligent videos, intelligent decisions. This is not the Shuri deck I would play. The move deck I talked about in yesterday and the day before's video is. I think move is the best place for Shuri right now, but this is a perfectly acceptable deck. And if in time Shang-Chi starts coming out of decks, this could rise to the top of the meta again. Our boy Kraken Null made a move deck. He's the move master. I just played 4 quick games with this. I played the second place deck, KM Best, who is hopefully doing the podcast soon. Just made a whole video on this. I reviewed it. It was the second place deck in the Snap Fan Open. I played it literally like that night. I went 9 and 3, and then I kind of stopped playing it. I don't know why. But obviously it's a wildly successful deck. I think this is genuinely just the single best hit monkey deck in the game. I tried to make a version of the lane control Thanos that didn't run Lockjaw. I threw it together. I played 4 quick games. I've played a few more on my phone. The deck is fun. It's not amazing. It turns out that like all the low cost stuff doesn't synergize well enough when you lock down a lane to give Iron Man the win. So you need Devil Dino. So there's got to be another way. This deck is close, but not quite there. I played J-Hug's Infinite deck. I was, again, more successful on my phone. I won some games. This is the deck I hit Infinite with last season. It's my favorite deck. Even like playing it casually, I hit 53 win rate, and then it's just here's a bunch of random crap. Random bounce deck I wasn't really feeling. I ran into a bunch of Sandman and basically quit it. The best Sera Classic deck I won a game with. I played one, and then I just decided it wasn't for me. Um, this is the Johnson Thanos list before the patch, the Lockjaw one. I won 69% of my games, 9-4. I actually did a fair amount of climbing with it. And this is the other deck that I made. I should probably copy this deck and play it some more. It was 53.5 win rate, but it's plus 13 cubes, which is absolutely humongous. This deck had some real game into things. It was really capable of putting a lot of power on the board in a surprising last turn, hence the really high cube rate for the games. The idea was you can Sera into a random miracle last turn, or you can Sera into Iron Man and like a couple smaller things and let that win the game. Deck worked really, really well. Probably wants Jeff, come to think of it, over Mojo, but whatever. Neither here nor there. That's what I've been doing. That's what I've been playing. You can see that I don't have stats for the Infinite deck. I'm telling you, I went from 98 to 100 in something like 6 or 7 games, losing one. All right, that's it for the Snap Take today. Remember, like, sub, and leave a comment with what you think the best deck in the meta. We know, as of right now, what the stats say. Tune in tomorrow for another Snap Take. See you then.